The following is a presentation of the Broadband Universe, brought to you in part by Vitruvi, the end-to-end GIS-based construction management platform that connects asset owners, operators, general contractors, and subcontractors for unmatched project control and collaboration. Manage every aspect of your telecommunications or utility infrastructure construction program with Vitruvi. Build faster, reduce costs, improve quality. Book your demo today on vitruvisoftware.com to see how we can help you build at scale. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Broadband Universe podcast. I'm Craig Corbin, and it is a pleasure to again welcome today's guest, Todd Schlekeway, President and CEO of NATE, the Communications Infrastructure Contractors Association. Todd, welcome back to the Broadband Universe.
Thank you so much, Craig. Really looking forward to our conversation today.
Absolutely. There is so much going on in your organization as we speak, literally days away from one of the, if not the biggest events on the calendar, and that's NATE Unite conference down in Orlando. I know you and the NATE team have been busy getting prepped for that.
Yeah, we're really excited. Great time of the year to go to Orlando, Florida, Craig, as you can imagine. And it's always a really busy, hectic time of the year, but a very exciting time as well.
Absolutely. And that, of course, taking place at the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort there in Orlando. We're going to look closer at much of what you have on the agenda. Phenomenal content at that event, and we will look closer at that later in the conversation. But one of the things that I think literally within the last 24, 48 hours that I saw from the organization, you had posted something about the release of a white paper, a very important one, drone mappings in the telecommunications industry. And having just looked at it briefly, an immense amount of data in that white paper. Tell us about how that all came about.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about that, Craig. So NATE is one of the associations that's really probably the most active in the commercial UAS sector because of the many use cases in the telecom industry that that are evolving literally rapidly. But I have to give a lot of credit to our UAS committee that we have within NATE. They organized last June in collaboration with Valmont Industries. We partnered with them, and we had the first annual NATE UAS Expo just outside of Omaha, Nebraska. And that was at Valley, Nebraska. That was Valmont's corporate headquarters. And we did a day's worth of UAS testing initiatives at that event. And so this white paper that we released this week on mapping was really the first of several that we plan to release here in the coming months that details some of the testing results from that expo event.
Okay.
And we also worked closely with the Telecommunications Industry Foundation. There's some tie-in to the TIA 222 standard. But it's really exciting because the ultimate goal, Craig, is to get more reliable data from our testing to continue to scale it commercially in our industry. There's a lot of data collection,
right,
mapping analysis use cases, but also safety ramifications. And, one of NATE's early incentives for being involved in drones and UAS were we see a lot of safety applications for the men and women working for contractors on sites using that technology.
Interesting. I'm always appreciative of the emphasis that's placed on safety as part of the daily work of the association. It is evident when you look at the year-long calendar, so many things are designed for training and continual education along those lines. This, I'm sure, the data that was gleaned from this process will be extremely beneficial in that ongoing effort.
Yeah, we're excited. We've already started planning, Craig, the second annual NATE UAS Expo. That's going to be early June, so that'll be June 5th and 6th back in the Omaha, Nebraska area. And last year, I think we had 125 stakeholders represented, and that was from private industry and from the state of Nebraska's government and from the FAA, the FCC, Department of Labor. And we're hoping to double the attendance this year.
Nice, nice. That's exciting. Well, the last time that we visited, one of the most important parts of that conversation, at least from my standpoint, was the effort to put out the feature-length documentary film Vertical Freedom. And I know that so many people have taken the opportunity to watch the film. Extremely moving. Such an amazing message that is part of that film. I'm curious now that we're removed from what was the premiere and all that went along with that. As you look back, what's it been like having done a full feature-length documentary film?
And we appreciated you, Craig, giving some spotlight to that movie. I can tell you in my almost 11 years working for NAID, it's been, the single-handed most memorable experience I've had. I never thought in a million years I would be an executive producer of a movie. And but what fun it's been. It is accomplishing what we set out to do, and that is let's break through the industry bubble and let's get our industry to the mainstream. And so it has really been exciting to just log into Amazon Prime and see it available there for rent or purchase, to go to iTunes, Google Play, Vimeo, YouTube. It's available now on all these prominent video on demand platforms. And so it's going to have a long shelf life, and we want it to have a long shelf life. And so the next step will be the distribution company we sold the film to after the video on demand window runs its course, Craig. The goal will be to sell it to a streaming platform where it can live even longer. So to answer your question, yeah, it's getting our industry more awareness to mainstream America and the mainstream public. And we're showing it at some of the community colleges and schools that we have partnerships with. And because I think we spoke last time at length, Craig, one of our primary motivations, and again, I have to give credit to the NAIT Board of Directors for supporting the massive investment of producing a movie, a feature-length documentary of this caliber. But it is really helping us tell the story from a career awareness, there's a career pathway, there's career opportunities, and it's really a workforce recruitment film, and it's starting to serve that purpose for us.
Well, and part of what you mentioned, I think, is key in that how it was crafted, how it was developed, truly is a timeless message, and it really hits the heartstrings in a lot of different ways with the climbers that were in the film, and it's something that if you haven't already seen it, it is certainly to do. When you are looking for something to watch on a weekend. But so glad to know that it is serving the purpose that the organization had hoped for, and something that I know will again be looked back on as a great move and one that will serve the purpose in going forward. And I know that a big part of that effort is being used now in an additional project, shorter video it's called, I guess, The Life of a Tower Tech, and available on YouTube, and downloaded it this morning. It's a great look, and if memory serves, I believe that the climbers featured in this were also in Vertical Freedom.
That is correct, Craig, and the beauty of the investment that the association made in the film Vertical Freedom is we own all of the B-roll footage, and you can imagine the volumes of film that we have at our fingertips. So we were able to repurpose a lot of those sound bites, the imagery, the visual imagery that you saw through drone footage, in the movie. We were able to repurpose some of that and use it for this 5-minute workforce recruitment video that we have subsequently made available to our members. And many of them are posting it on their websites, they're posting it on their social media platforms. And that's really the goal of this Life of a Tower Tech video, Craig, is to help our members tell their story when they go to job fairs, when they go to in interviews. And so Nate even posted on our telecomjobsconnect.com portal that we have.
Nice.
Because we want interested men and women seeking jobs in our industry. We want them to obviously work for our members. Yeah. And so really it's been fun to again see vertical freedom live on and manifest itself in these different forms, including the Life of a Tower Tech video.
Absolutely. And at the end of this conversation, we'll actually leave our viewers with that video, Life of a Tower Tech, and it's something that I really think is enjoyable. You're watching the Broadband Universe podcast, brought to you by Lit Communities. Light up your community. You deserve better internet. By Vetro FiberMap, radically simpler fiber management. And by Vitruvi, build faster, reduce costs, improve quality. And my guest today, Todd Schlekeway, President and CEO of NATE, the Communications Infrastructure Contractors Association. And we made mention right off the top about what we are days away from as we stand today, and that's NATE Unite 23, a massive gathering there in Orlando. And I know in looking at the agenda, my goodness, to say that it's action-packed is an understatement. There's so many things that jump off the page from day one. Of course, it runs from the 20th through the 23rd of February there at the Rose and Shingle Creek Resort in Orlando. But one of the things that jumped out to me as far as the educational sessions, and so many of those to choose from, but on day 2, closing the digital divide and all hands on deck approach. And boy, that really hits the nail on the head right now.
Absolutely, Craig, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a session that's right up the alley for your listeners of Broadband Universe. Really excited about that session. We will have different perspectives represented on the panel. We have a company who's a member of the Fiber Broadband Association, kind of representing the fiber deployment piece of building out and closing the digital divide. We have a member company who's going to be representing the fixed wireless community, so WISPA. That'll be an interesting discussion and dynamic. And then we have kind of a traditional macro tower small cell contractor who's a member of NATE represented on that panel. And then we have a really prominent kind of expert on zoning, siting, permitting, which of course plays a massive role, the site acquisition piece. Yeah. And so you put that all together, and we think it's really going to be an interesting session, especially in light of what we all know is coming and that you've covered extensively here, Craig, on Broadband Universe, and that's the BEAD funding, the generational investment being made by the federal government to the states. We're going to start seeing some of that funding come later this year and into 24. And I anticipate one of the A topics at our conference will be how well, contractors who we primarily represent, Craig, we're going to be fielding a lot of questions. Well, my customers get this money. Will it impact me directly, indirectly? How can we apply? What's my state shaping up to be? So this question, or this session that you referenced here, is going to tackle some of those questions and try to educate our attendees on the different technologies that are available to close the digital divide, and the BEAD program, and how to stay on top of that and become educated on what's happening in your state, because we all know the rules of the game in large part are going to be made at the state level, and so. Right. We're going to really try to help our members keep their finger on the pulse. But this session, I think, will be an eye-opener and one that will be very well attended.
A great example of what is available on the agenda there at NATE Unite. And in looking at the entirety of the agenda, love the fact that you got a 5K run in there and a golf tournament. Now we're talking.
Well, this is your open invitation, Craig, because I know you're a golfer. next year at Nate Unite 2024 in Memphis, Tennessee, I'd like to have you be in my golf foursome.
It would be an honor. It would be an honor. And I'll tell you, it is something that I really hate that I won't be able to be there with you guys this year, but so impressed with what has been done to assemble a phenomenal agenda for the membership that is there that will benefit in so many different ways. And, looking back to one of the things that we talked about earlier in the conversation, utilizing the tools, the video, to serve as a workforce recruitment mechanism, because, to follow up on your remark about the BEAD funding and what's coming there with the massive expansion of networks, that will by default wind up providing much more opportunity for work down the line for the membership of NATE. And I know that having the ability to reach parts of the country that haven't been aware of the tremendous benefit long-term of a career path this way is something that is exciting for you and the team there.
Yeah, it's just really, each year we grow and we kind of evolve as a trade association along with the industry, and our conference reflects that as well. We're expecting, Craig, over 3,000 attendees.
Wow.
We have a record number of exhibitors, 194 exhibitors on the trade show floor. And so, yeah, it's just an exciting time to be in the industry. And but to your point, I mean, safety and workforce issues will be very hot topics at the conference, along with the broadband funding questions.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you and the NATE team and everyone there a phenomenal conference. Can't wait to catch up with you after the fact and see how everything went. And as we leave our viewers today, again, we're going to give you a look at the life of a tower tech. Todd, thanks so much for being with me again here on the Broadband Universe.
Thank you, Craig.
I couldn't believe people went up there. People worked up there, and I was like, that would be so cool.
To some people were crazy, and to some people were brave. It could either go both ways.
You gotta embrace the adventure.
You have to have somewhat of a free spirit to be up there.
When you get up there, you get a heavenly moment. Yeah, it's just awesome. So, every climb is a great one.
People kind of walk into a Verizon store or T-Mobile store and they want to know what's the greatest phone, what phone fits my needs. But the network itself is what drives it, and the people behind the networks.
It's just not your normal, everyday, 9 to 5, monotonous routine over and over and over.
I travel a lot, so it's all the time. I've been everywhere from Oregon to Washington, D.C., New York.
You go everywhere. You'll come back to the office on a Friday. Monday morning, you're back out to maybe Northern California or something like that. You're up, pretty early. And you can stay in the field pretty late to get your stuff done.
You are in all types of weather. Extreme heat in the summer.
Rain, sleet, and hail, all the greatness.
You get up there and you'll feel it. I make sure I tell all my guys, bundle up.
There's all kinds. I think what we have in common is the tower, and we all climb.
If this industry stopped existing at this time, people would go crazy. The cell phones, internet, social media, it'd be like anarchy in the streets or something.
The amount of work that needs to get done it's endless. By the time we get done with this, 6G is gonna come out. Right now, I believe there's anywhere from 12,000, maybe 14,000 tower climbers that are supporting the 330 million people in the United States. We need 20,000 tower climbers, 25,000 tower climbers, and we need them now.
Giving the tower industry a shot, it could take you a long way. I could start saving money, I could have a house. All those things are possible if you do it the right way.
Being able to work hard and continue learning, it's a great way to move up, and you can one day make the money that you're looking to.
It's allowed me to live the life I can live now, and that's a life of adventure.
I'm not in an office, in a cubicle, behind a computer screen. There's no way I could do that. But I'm enjoying my office, on the field, wherever it may take me.
When I first started, I was like, climbing towers, I don't know if I want to do that forever. Now I can't really see myself in a different industry.
I'm literally connecting the entire world. If we don't have these towers up, there's no signal and there's no connection with each other. I'm performing my job for the world.